Greetings, it's time to continue on with our project and work on the gusset part of the sock. This is the fourth video. In the first video, you learned how to cast on for the toes for this project. Now there are, of course, various ways to do all of these things. I'm showing you one that I chose for this project. Then you learned how to create increases and shape the toe section of the sock. And in the previous video, we transitioned into the foot section of the sock, and you also saw how you can use your own custom little design of a color pattern to create a color work band here to embellish your sock. I really do hope that you will give it a try. As you learn different techniques within sock knitting, you are going to feel more and more empowered to create your own designs. And I do hope that these projects will encourage you to do that. We continued knitting the instep, and you measured until you were at the point where you saw in the previous video photo where to stop. Now it is time to work on this gusset. It is important to note that yes, the size of the sock is important when measured from the toes to the gusset. But as we work from toes up, here we can also still be adjusting the size. I purposefully made this first sock larger than I needed. And how did I do that? I kept working the gusset for 3 more increases, 6 more rows than I needed. And it added a whole shoe size to my sock. This is helpful to note because sometimes you might be knitting for someone with a high arch, and you may need to stop instep sooner than usual, and that's okay. Then you will just have a larger gusset for them by having a few more increased rows, and it would look like this. So this would be a whole size larger sock instead of medium women's size, which this one will be. This is a large, so this would be larger than shoe size 10. This would be a size 10 to 12. This would be a good men's size sock as well. So think about that as you're knitting. Now, if you're just knitting in general, this pattern, we had 33 rows after the collar pattern, and now we're going to have 12 increases for the gusset. It will be smaller than this example, but I wanted you to see how you can have the same instep and a larger gusset for a larger foot, or make a shorter instep and a larger gusset for someone with a high arch. That was a pretty long intro. I apologize, but I hope it was helpful to take a look at those things. Let's begin on our work. So this is what we need to do first. We need to make sure that on each edge, this will be the bottom. So here we have 1 purl. Then I look back here, I have 2 purl. I'm going to take one of them over. Now I have 1. Okay. And now we're going to place markers. You can make them from yarn like I showed you in the first video. I want to show you these cute little knitting stitch markers I got, the little bees. I'm very excited to use them for the first time, honestly. So there are various ways in which you will be using your stitch markers. Right here, for our purposes, what we need to do is separate the base stitches from the gusset increase stitches that we're going to make. So I'm going to put my stitch marker right here. after I increase. So remember, we're going to do the same increase with this thin yarn. I really prefer to increase stitches in this way. I pull on the stitch from the row before and I knit, and then I knit the next one. But before I knit the next one, I'm going to put my stitch marker here. Now this tells me that this is the first gusset increase. And now I'm going to knit. So this purl stitch is going to disappear in this process. And that's okay, we want that. I will still keep purl and the center 7 stitches the way that they are. So here I come, I need to make 2 from this one, so I'm going to pull. I will keep doing the same type of increase on this whole project. In testing the design, I have seen that it works best with this type of yarn. So all of you are going to have your favorite ways to increase stitches, but I do encourage you to try this one. Now you're going to knit straight across the instep. And you want to make sure here that even though you're starting a new needle, you're pulling your yarn tightly so that you're not opening any gaps that could start looking like holes later on your sock. And I'll show you a sample after we finish this round. I will show you the sample and show you how this type of increase really keeps things nicely closed and no holes on the sides of the sock. I will show you in just a moment, as soon as we come to the end of this round. Oh, I want to keep these 2 purl stitches at the edges of my instep, so don't get rid of those. Okay, we finished the first round of the gusset shaping, and here I'll show you this sock. I'll put my hand inside so that I can stretch it out, and you can see there are no holes. If you're doing this type of increase and you twist that second stitch like you'll see me do, then it's really going to be nice, even, and no holes, no gaps. And then when we get to the heel flap, I will show you how this is done so that you don't have any holes even though you're working with very thin yarn. Sometimes if you get a gap or stretched stitch, we can fix it in the finishing touches with the sewing needle, but it's also nice to practice different techniques that can bring you various results. That was the increase round. Now we go one time around, no increases, and our stitch markers stay in the same place. keep your yarn tight here, even though you're changing the round. See, you want to pull your yarn tight so you don't get gaps between the needles. You just slip the marker over. Remember to keep your yarn tightly pulled between the needles as you're switching the needles. We now work across the instep. Okay, we finished the second round of gusset. There were no increases. Now we alternate. Increase, no increase round, increase, no increase. So this is our second increase, round number 3. I will keep doing that same type of increase. You see, I pull it up. Then I knit this, twisting the stitch. Slip over the stitch marker. Work to the end of the needle. Slip the marker. Now we increase. This is our second increase. I'm doing the same type I've been using for this whole project, twisting the second stitch. I want to say thank you to some of you who noticed this little thing about increasing and about keeping things nice and tight without big gaps. And for commenting. Thank you so much for commenting and posting your questions. And this is the end of our second increase round, third round of the gusset. Now we go fourth round and the second non-increase round. So now we don't increase, we work all the way around once, no increases. My yarn was splitting here. See, your yarn might split here. You don't want to break this off. You want to put it where it belongs, for then your yarn might split more. Okay, keep it all tight. Now, some of you like to knit along with me, and some of you like to just see what to do and then turn off the video and work. So notice that there are chapters in the tutorials. If you're coming back to the video because you left off halfway, you can find your way to the place you stopped there if you lost your place. You can do this without stitch markers, but it really helps to have them because having them here helps you keep track of how many times you increased for the gusset. And if you don't have time to sit and work through the whole gusset knitting part, then you will find it very helpful to be able to quickly tell how far you were when you stopped working, and then when you come back to your project you will know, oh, this is how many more I need to do. Now increase round. You slip over your stitch marker and you knit, and then you increase at the end. Same type of increase we have been doing this whole project. You can already see this nice line and things being tight. We have finished another increase round. The next round is no increase. And you will keep alternating like this until you have 12 stitches after your stitch marker. So you will want to have, see, here's your marker. You have 3 stitches here. You will want to have 12 on this side. So that means you will do total of 24 rounds. We have just finished the 5th one of those 24 because one is increase, one is no increase. All right, once you have increased by 12 stitches on each side, you will be ready to work on the heel turn. I will let you knit now and work alternating increase and non-increase rounds. When you have added 12 stitches on each side for the gusset, you can proceed to the next video where we will turn the heel. All right, I will stop the video as I go into my 5th increase. You will want, I am sure you'll want 12 increases, but when you have 10, try it on and see. And if it feels like it's deep enough, you can stop. But usually we need 12 increases. I'll show you as soon as I finish this this needle. I will show you what it looked like at 12 increases and then at 15. Okay, so here is this sample I made. This part here is the same. Okay, that was the stitch marker I was showing you how to make. And then here is the gusset. And there are 15 increases, 30 rows in this large sample. 1, 2, 3. So when we were at 12, this was the size. So the heel flap at 12 stitches would be here instead of here. And that is what I do think you want. If you are going for a women's sock that will fit somewhere between the shoe size 8 and 10, you will want to have 11 or 12 increases. I'm going to work for 12 increases, but if you have a smaller foot, you may want to try it on at 10 and 11 just to make sure. So your heel will go all the way here, so you want to be halfway, right? You want to be halfway over your heel when you're measuring that. So give it a try. If you're not sure, then just do 12 increases and go to the next video where we will turn the heel and go up the flap.